Fascinating. Hey guys, I'm Adam Boring. Today I'm going to talk to you about wild, medicinal, and edible mushrooms that I found in and around George Washington National Forest. Now, not all of these mushrooms can be found at the same time per year that I'm going to talk about today, but as you can see, there's quite the diversity of mushrooms that you can find in the woods, different shapes and sizes. Just because somebody says that it is edible or medicinal doesn't mean that it is. And just because somebody calls it chicken of the woods, or calls it a lion's mane, or calls it a chanterelle or a trumpet, something like that, doesn't mean that's actually what it is. Common names of mushrooms can have many, many different types of species under that umbrella of a name. So, whenever you try to ingest something, I suggest that you be 100% sure by doing your own research through ID groups on Facebook, looking up resources online for identification of these mushrooms, the different keys, dichotomous keys, before you ingest any kind of mushroom. So, without further ado, let's jump into it and talk about some of these mushrooms.
Turkeytail, or Trametes versicolor, grows on hardwoods and sometimes conifers. It looks very similar to other bracket fungi such as Sterium austria and Tricaptum biform. Sterium austria has a smooth underside with no pores, while Tricaptum biform has teeth underneath. Look for different rings of color on the cap that may include white, tan, brown, blue, and sometimes red. They also have tiny pores. I believe it's 7 to 8 per millimeter underneath the fruiting body. There are different densities of hairiness on the cap. The cap is also very flexible. It'll bend really easily without breaking, kind of like you're moving leather. Now, to use this medicinally, you're going to want to make a tea out of it. It's an antioxidant. It can boost your immune system. It can even ward off some types of cancer, such as colon, breast cancer, and stomach cancer, with normal cancer treatment, of course. But it can also help with your gut health by providing prebiotics.
Ganoderma sugae, baby. Also called the reishi mushroom, and some places the lingzi mushroom. This mushroom can be found on dead and dying eastern hemlock trees. We've got different stages of growth here, from buttons, smaller sizes, all the way to this big boy here. If you try to read about the medicinal benefits online, you're probably actually reading about one called Ganoderma lucidum, which actually grows in Asia and only grows in North America in parts of California and Utah. Anywho, this is what us mushroom hunters call a good day.
Now these here are starting to look a little bit old. They'll turn really red, they'll get soft, maybe waterlogged, and the underside pore surface will start to turn brown rather than staying white. To make these into a medical tea, what you're going to want to do is cut one of them up into little chunks, dry those chunks out, and you can use those chunks up to 3 times each. The tea kind of has a sour flavor to it, so I like to add a little bit of cinnamon, but add whatever you would like to it. But the benefits of this mushroom includes boosting your immune system. It can fight off some types of cancers, including breast cancer, prostate cancer, colon or rectal cancer, and even intestinal tumors. It fights fatigue and depression. It can increase good cholesterol, decrease your blood sugar. It's an antioxidant, and it even has a calming effect. Chaga, Inonotus obliquus, also known as the mushroom of immortality, the gift of God mushroom, the birch canker, and the cinder conch. This mushroom has been used for centuries for medicinal purposes. It's even thought that Otzi the Iceman, who is a frozen mummy found in the Alps, may have had it on his person. Now, this mushroom is typically consumed via tea, capsules, or a tincture. For medicinal use, it's harvested from birches in the fall and winter. It looks like a black smear on trees compared to bear scat sometimes, and it has an orange interior. It's often confused with hardened sap and tree knots or burls. Now, the benefits of this mushroom are pretty impressive. It boosts the immune system. It's an anti-inflammatory. It prevents and fights certain types of cancers like lung cancer, breast cancer, prostate cancer, and colon cancer. It can lower your blood sugar and your cholesterol, and it may even help acne and sunburns. But a word of caution, too much of this mushroom can be a bad thing. It may not interact well with insulin or blood thinners, so use with caution and do your own research before ingesting this mushroom medicinally. Maybe you've heard of the zombie mushroom.
The zombie mushroom comes from a species called Cordyceps. They are notorious for parasitizing insects and killing them, even making them go to strange places to die just so that they can release their spores where the mushroom wants them to. But this one here actually parasitizes a little pupa or caterpillar that's in the ground. This species is pretty hard to see because, as you can see, it's pretty small, actually. Pretty hard to see. This is known as Cordyceps militaris, and it's actually the type species, or the species that really characterizes or looks like the face of that genus for the genus Cordyceps. Let's try to find that bug. Right there the bug is.
So there it is, there's the bug. The reddish color you see in the light there, that's what's left of the pupa. It eats them pretty quickly though. Cordyceps is used medicinally around the world. In fact, in China, there's a specific species of Cordyceps, I believe it's called Cordyceps sinensis, that has been hunted almost to extinction. It's very endangered. So, they ended up making a version of that mushroom that they now use in hospitals in China. Now, Cordyceps can be used as a tea, a tincture, in capsules, or in powder form. It's got many benefits, and one of the more surprising ones of this list. Cordyceps militaris may actually improve exercise performance. It has anti-aging properties potentially. It could possibly help with anti-tumor effectiveness in cancers of the colon, in the lungs, the skin, and even the liver. It may increase white blood cell levels in the body, which is another reason why it is effective in helping with cancer. It may help with type 2 diabetes by mimicking insulin and for decreasing blood sugar levels. It can help improve heart health by decreasing bad cholesterol, and it even has other compounds inside of the mushroom that kind of aid for healthy heart protection. Last but not least, we have the lion's mane mushroom. Unfortunately, I don't have any video of this mushroom, but I do have several pictures from myself and friends. This first one is Hericium erinaceus, the actual lion's mane mushroom. This is Hericium coralloides. It's found growing on the same type of trees, the oak trees without bark, but it has smaller spines and it kind of branches out more. And this is Hericium americanum, and it's kind of got little bald structures all over it with the longer spines on it. Each of these mushrooms are considered medicinal, and they can grow back in the same spot for up to 5 years after they begin growing. They can be cooked, dried, used as a tea, put in capsules, and even made into a tincture, and they're very tasty cooked. The benefits of this mushroom are pretty astounding. They can protect against dementia. They can relieve mild depression and anxiety, supposedly. They may decrease the recovery time of nervous system injuries. They can even reduce the severity of brain damage after strokes, it is thought. They may protect against ulcers in the intestines by reducing H. pylori growth. They can reduce heart disease risk, aid in several diabetic symptoms such as lowering blood sugar and reducing nerve pain. They may fight cancers such as liver, colon, stomach, and blood cancers. And they are an anti-inflammatory that may also boost your immune system. So, pretty amazing mushroom.